Alrighty, so here it is at 12 noon. It's high noon here, partner. At 7:30 we started the smoker. At 8 o'clock we put the turkey in the smoker. Did not have the camera running then because trust me, that is one ugly sight you would not want to see. It's me first thing in the morning. Now I've already done a little bit of prepping. I have already washed and peeled the potatoes. Now I'm about to cube them through the magic of editing, as I like to do during these things. You'll see how quickly I can actually cube before we throw it in the pot with water. Already has salt in it to prevent boil over. Now, because I've already washed my hands and I'm not dealing with any raw meat, that's why I'm not wearing gloves. So let's get to cubing, shall we? Now, as you see, we went simply with 4 because it's just the wife and I. No need to cook for 3 weeks. So just doing 4, and we're going to put them right into the pot of water that's already been salted to prevent the boil over. I'm going to turn this on high until it boils, and then we are going to let it boil for about 5 minutes, make those potatoes nice and smushy. And while we do that, we got something else that we can get started. Now, while those potatoes are boiling, we are going to, again, something that was pre-prepped, washed and peeled, are the sweet potatoes for the sweet potato pie, sweet potato casserole, whatever you want to call it. With these all being cubed now, what we're going to do is we are going to set them off to the side as we are multitasking. Now, one thing is that we will be multitasking with this, and back by popular demand, we're going to do some asparagus. Now, first thing of the asparagus that you're going to want to do is cut off the very tail ends of the asparagus, as they really have no nutritional value. Now, I stopped the speed up of this because the potatoes are now boiling, so I'm going to drop the temperature to about 3/4 heat and let it boil for 5 minutes. Now you hear the buzzer going off, that means our 5 minutes is up. So I'm going to use a little fork here to see the tenderness of the potatoes. And I'm going to have to go to a different timer because I don't think that was 5 minutes and they're not nearly tender enough to mash. So we're going to put it on for a little bit longer. And with the asparagus all cut up, what we're going to do is we're going to switch over. I'm hoping, really hoping that we have enough room on our little pan here to make. So what we're going to do is we are going to take and bundle them up by 3s. Now that we have, and of course you hear the buzzer going off, so let's check these potatoes and see if they're ready to mash. They are not quite tender enough, but that's fine. It'll give us time to do this next step, which just going to require a little bit of olive oil, vegetable oil, excuse me. Other than a little extra crispness, you'll see why it's good to have a nice coat of vegetable oil on the asparagus part of the asparagus. So the next step is you're just going to want to lightly, and that's why I'm doing it in my hand, lightly drizzle some salt over these. But before we get to that final step, we are going to grind a little bit of fresh pepper on these with the oil. Again, that will hold the pepper granulates on. And we're good to go. But for the final touch of the asparagus, we're going to check the potatoes first. And so we drain those. Put this back on the stove so that we can dump the potatoes back in. Now our next step on these mashed potatoes is, well, you do the mash, you do the monster mash, the monster mash. So what do you say we add a little bit of flavoring? Now first thing you're going to do, you gotta add some milk so you don't have that mouth full of sand in the beach. I grabbed a pint of milk. It's all to your liking, whether you like it more runny, whether you like it more textured. Just because you see me use as much or as little, that doesn't mean anything. And I also like to go with a little creaminess. So what I do is I add garlic and herb butter. I just throw a few good dollops in there, and it adds that garlic. Well, I guess I did a couple of dollops all in one. Go figure. And it's got that great, the herb, the garlic flavoring. I'm gonna throw a little extra milk in here. And then we continue to do the mash. The monster mash. The monster mash. The monster mash. And now that your mashing is all done, mashing, why does it sound like I'm a moonshiner? Now that you've mashed it all up, for presentation purposes, you got a nice little dish right here. And with that, your mashed potatoes for Thanksgiving are done. The next step with your asparagus, we're going to need gloves. But before we do that, let's go ahead and preheat this oven to 425 degrees. So now we can grab our gloves. And this is what turns your ordinary, everyday asparagus into asparagus. What doesn't go better with bacon? Now what I like to do is take it in 3 sprigs per dude. But when I counted it out, I had not a multiple of 3, so 2 of these have 4 sprigs in the dude. since I have time while the oven is preheating, I'm going to take a little break from the recording just to clean up this pot so we can get the sweet potato pie, sweet potato casserole next steps going. And while I was doing that, the oven has now fully preheated. So we're going to put this in for about 20 minutes and we will check it after that.